Today on You Shine, I Shine, I have Sean Quinn, but on the street known as Sean Fingers Quinn, because he is the man, he is the drum man, hitting them beats on those drums, African drums, Indian drums, you name it, he's the man. Thank you for joining us, Sean.
Oh, you're welcome.
I just wanted to know all about you and how you got into drumming. Because I always think of like Van Halen and Bon Jovi doing all of that. But you take drumming to a whole nother level. Please tell me.
Well, I got into drumming by travelling, really. I went to India, lived there for 6 months or a year. Mm-hmm. Saw a guy playing some Indian percussion and was completely blown away by it. Thought I had to get some of that. Bought a set of drums, studied a bit in India and in Nepal. Came back to England, and that's how it started, really.
What's your favourite talking drum?
My favourite talking drum?
Yes.
Well, there's talking drums from Nigeria, Ghana,
yeah, woo,
Senegal.
Nigeria.
Nice. But Senegalese talking drums are my favourite talking drums. They're very cheeky, expressive, and they can be rude. They can be all sorts of different things, and they're very melodic. So that's my favourite talking drum.
And so you also run a company where you showcase your drumming. It's educational, performance, entertainment. Just tell me, how did you decide, right, I'm going to take this from a hobby to this being a career and a profession?
Well, I guess at the time when I started drumming, I was actually a jeweller, and I'd studied to be a jeweller and sculptor. Wow. I was always playing music in bands since I was a teenager, as a guitarist, bassist, this, that and the other. And after travelling to India, seeing these drums and picking them up, it just sort of developed a little bit, and I was still doing jewellery. Then it got to a stage, I've been doing that for 10 years, I thought I'm going to give this up, and if I'm going to try and do music, I'll have to do nothing else, because it's easier to earn money doing anything else than music, really. So then I decided I'd make a go at doing that. I travelled to Africa, lived there for quite a while, travelled around Senegal, Guinea, Gambia, learnt some of that kind of percussion, and that was it. Then the rot has really set in, and I just got drums from all over the place. Was playing in a lot of bands and that kind of stuff. But setting up a company, after being in bands for a while, some of it's great, some of it's it's work, and I thought I'd diversify a bit, so I started teaching, and it's very rewarding work. I teach loads of kids, I teach adults. The children get a very wide range of things out of it, but I think it just helps connecting synapses, so they might be better in their maths class. They'll be better at focusing. We go through all sorts of stuff, either traditional drum stuff from Africa or Asia, or all that influence, or we do stuff that what I prefer to do, really, much like my own story. I like people to get inspired, and to learn from wherever it is they go, and to use that for their own creative expression.
When you go into schools and you're educating the kids, and then you give them the drum, and then from that moment, from where you came into the hour where you end, what happens? What is that transformation?
Oh, it's a different transformation for every kid, really. I mean, some kids, I think, drumming can be a great tool for just letting steam off and that kind of stuff. And for a lot of people, it will be that. But always in classes, there's one or two who you can see have either naturally got something and they're not bothered about it now, but they've naturally got something, or they're really excited about music and they don't really know they are yet. And that's great. You're just putting a couple of little feathers in their thing there, so that later on maybe they'll come back and be useful for them, because at that age they're so open.
Yes. What is the history of drumming? Because I don't know. I do African dance, but and I know a lot of people do out there. Yeah. But then the power and the spirituality of the beat of the drum, just the essence of it. Just tell us a bit of history. That first experience when you saw the drum player and you just thought, I need to do this. This is my calling. Just tell me about those moments, that experience.
Well, the very first one was in India. I was 21. I'd been there for 3 days. It was a completely new environment. Didn't know what was going on. Monsoon had just started. We went to this small tea shop, and this guy came up, a skinny strip of a guy called Ashok, and he said he met me and my friend there, and he said, "Do you want to come round, have some food tomorrow?" And we thought, great, So we went round to his place. It was a very simple place. He was just living in the one room, basically. His friend cooked us a 3-course meal on one primus stove with a couple of different pots, and it was all piping hot and beautiful. And while he was doing that, Ashok was playing the tabla, these drums. And I must admit, for me, I was gone somewhere else. It was so awe-inspiring. It was a magical thing for me, absolutely. It was a very big thing. And that's what's really started my passion for that. I mean, already I was interested in music, but it blew me away. I'd never heard anything like it.
Wow.
I mean, drums are very, very old instruments. You know, the voice is older, dancing is older, but the drum is a very old instrument. And throughout the ages, there have been people, either shaman, who are, you know, who would be really the head spiritual person of an area, who would get stuff going ceremonially or whatever else. And the same in pretty well every culture has some form of very spiritual drumming. Most of my influences haven't been the big guns from the known music world. They've been from travelling about and meeting people who are just insane musicians, you know, who are really good and they're doing it. And those are the people that I suppose have most impressed me, you know. But for congas, there's a guy called Giovanni Hidalgo who is the man, you know. He's technically the wizard of drums. There's another guy, Anga Diaz, conga player, who's not a technical guy. He's just, you know, a spirit of drums. So there's loads of different influences. Zakir Hussain, the Pakistani amazing tabla player. I mean, he's number one, and I went to see him recently, and you get lost. You're looking at the guy playing, and you can't believe he's playing what he's playing.
Wow.
And that is really you know, invigorating and stirring. It's exactly that, getting in the zone and playing. If you're playing and you don't really know you're playing anymore, you're listening to absolutely everything going on around you. You're aware of everything going on around, but you're not concentrating on any of it. And then you are absolutely in the zone. It is like a meditation, you know, ecstasy in some places. When you're there, you are there. It's fantastic. You know.
And what is your favourite? Because you've got a hell of a lot of drums here. Every kind of drums from all over the world.
I have.
Give me a top three. What's your top three drums?
I love the talking drum is really my favourite, which
like
is
that. What's he saying?
All sorts of things. It depends what language you're talking in, I guess.
Because I'm like, you know, when you're at the club, right, and then and then the live drummer comes on, I'm like, man, the drummer's saying, hey, Effie, you need to do this. You need to get there. You need to bust some moves.
That's it. Yeah. So there is that, you know. I mean, funny enough, when I was in Senegal, and the people who were playing talking drum would be playing stuff to people who were walking past, who didn't understand what was going on. Or if you were at a dance, either a talking drum player or a saba player, another type of drum player, they call individual dancers from the crowd, like you over there in the red dress. You know, you come over here, and then you'd have a duel with the drummers and the dancers, and they'd know exactly what's going on. I don't understand that language. I haven't studied enough to know.
Yes.
But you know, in Senegal, the language is I suppose it's been lost over time in a sense, the original means of things, but people still understand from instruments to the people. I think following your heart is the biggest thing you can do. Realising what it is in your heart, I think, can be tricky. You know, your situation might not show you the way forward. You need to have a look at that yourself. Some people will follow a more practical thing down their heart, but really, you know, if you want to be a few years down the line and still be happy where you are, follow your heart. And once you think you're on the right path, you've got to work at it. You've got to try. You've got to learn. You've got to put the hours in. You know, unless you're the most extraordinarily gifted person in the world and very lucky to meet the right people, so it all goes well, you've got to work. You've got to put the hours in. You've got to think about it in not like you're working, but this is playtime. You know, you're playing. You're living by doing it, by learning. Rehearse, play. You know, learn your stuff. Educate yourself. Research things. You know, that kind of stuff is very important.
Hallelujah.
Exactly.
You heard that from Drumheads Live, Sean Fingers Quinn.
You did.
It's all about the passion, it's about the heart. Because remember, when you shine, Sean, I shine.
Absolutely.
Amen.
That's the way forward.
Yeah.